Hello, this is Blayu, and this is my New Year's video. So if you're watching this on New Year's, Happy New Year's. It's now 2025, but I'm recording this in 2024. Yay. So I am an avid gamer, and I play an absolute ton of games, but believe it or not, I do actually have a life. So I have missed some big ones, and there are some weird ones on here because I play weird games sometimes. But basically, I've played a ton of games this year, and I'm going to be ranking just the ones that released in 2024 that I played. Did I miss one? Probably. I guarantee I did. I just remembered one like a minute ago, and I made this list a couple days ago. Um, but yeah, and I play a ton of games from older years or previous years. But it would be kind of unfair if I did that because my favorite game of all time came out last year. I'm not going to say what it is because I'll probably do a podcast on it. But if I could turn that game on for 2 seconds and say, "Oh, I played it. This is the best game this year." Well, it's not. It came out last year, not this year. So I'm just ranking the games that I remembered that I played this year. And if you actually are watching this and decided to look at the tier list thingy thing there, the boxes, yes, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree is on there, FF16 DLC, Splatoon 3 Side Order. I'm aware that those are DLCs, but I'm I do not consider them games. They are DLCs. And I know this is supposed to be, for games that I played this year, but I'm just putting them on there because I played them and well, it's my list. I can do what I want. So, yeah. Now, the Splatoon 3 DLC, it was okay. FF16, those aren't too long. Elden Ring, it took me 20 hours to beat it. It took me 60 hours to beat the base game. But, and I spent longer in the Elden Ring DLC, 20 hours, than I did on most of the others on this list. So, I'm just putting it in. But, yeah, I was going to rank these in like numerical order, but I have a podcast for that, and I'll probably end up doing podcasts on these games. So, yeah, here are the games that came out this year slash DLCs that came out this year that I remember playing. And I probably missed one. And I know there are some big games I haven't played, like Silent Hill 2 remake, and I'm looking into the Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake, and so many remakes. But yeah, I'm just going to get started. Okay, I guess I'll just get the DLCs out the way. You know what? Let's start strong. Elden Ring DLC. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in D tier and watch the comments freak out. No, I'm kidding. It's a great DLC for a game that I'm personally not a huge fan of. I like Souls games. I really liked Bloodborne when I played it. That was a good game, but yeah, Elden Ring. I just find it kind of overwhelming sometimes and very difficult. But I beat it. I beat King Consort Radon. That is the only time I've ever cheesed the boss because I just got so sick of his particle effects and his big nuke attack and my Xbox lagging out and the fans screaming at me. Smoke was pouring out. It was not a fun experience. I'm kidding. The Xbox didn't blow up, but it took me 20 hours to beat it, and I guarantee I saw like 5%. So, yeah, I'll just put it in A tier. It's fine there. And I will probably do a podcast on Elden Ring at some point. I'm probably doing a podcast on all these maybe. For now, Splatoon 3 Side Order. If you've never seen this, it's like a roguelike type thing. Roguelite, maybe, because you kind of get weapons and stuff. I played this at the beginning of the year, and I don't remember it, but here it is, and I have no footage of it. Maybe I do. I might insert some footage here as I'm talking at some point. Maybe. It depends on how much editing I can be bothered to do, but most likely you will not see footage for these games. Most of them you probably already know what they look like. They're pretty big games, but yeah, this DLC, it was alright. It took me about an hour or two to beat it. I'll put it in, it's not D tier, it's C tier. Where's the other DLC? FF16 DLC. The first part was like mainly combat. The second part was more story. I thought I would like the second part more because the combat in the game, it's good, but the story is fantastic, and the cutscenes and the framing and it's everything is great. Combat it's all right. So I thought I would like the second DLC bit, the Rising Tide, but that was just weird. There was like a baby frozen in time in some water, and it had like a big water snake inside of it, and you had to like free the water snake, and then Clive absorbed it, and the baby was free. I think maybe it disappeared. Yeah, that was a weird DLC. But the first part, it had a pretty decent story. About an hour long boss fight at the end. I probably like broke the square button on my controller, but FF16, I'll save my thoughts on it. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Yeah, I'll do a thing on it later. It's probably down there with Splatoon. It's C tier. Harold Halibut. This is a weird game. I absolutely love the style of it. The whole like claymation thing. Everything appears kind of hand animated. I really, really like the look of it. It's basically just a walking simulator though. Like go here, touch a thing, go back, tell the person that you touched the button. But I did play this game at kind of an important time, so I associate this game with that time that I played it. So I'm going to put it in B tier, mainly for kind of the weird, quirky music and stuff, and the the animation. The gameplay is absolute garbage, and the story is just weird. I probably wouldn't recommend it, but I just like the look of it. Pokemon TCG Pocket. Let's do that one. I have a couple videos of this one already on my channel, so if I decide to edit any gameplay into this, I'll probably just steal my own video and just put a little 30-second thing of that in. But, some people say mobile games aren't real games. I disagree because this is a high-quality one, so, nah. Yeah, I don't really like the TCG battling that much. Never have, even though I'm a big fan of the TCG. I just like collecting the cards, and getting a pack every day is nice because I have a ton of Pokemon that I want to open, or like packs that I want to buy or whatever. But I don't do it very often because it's a long process putting it all in binders and sorting it and storing it. B tier. Mario and Luigi Brothership. Let's do that one. My thoughts on this are well documented in my podcast. I put 5 hours into that game and I never looked back. It's a D tier. Because if there was an F tier, that's where Mario and Luigi Brothership would go. And I'm a huge fan of the Mario RPGs. But this one just didn't do it for me. It was a no. Ooh, let's do a fun one. Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. My thoughts on this are well documented. That's the first podcast episode I ever did. It's a C tier. Plucky Squire. I was going to do a podcast on this. I said so in my Zelda thing, and then I forgot to do it. The game looks decent. It's buggy. It's weird. It has a lot of like glitches and lag. The gameplay is so unbelievably boring. I was kind of excited for this game when it came out. That was before I found out the villain was named Humgrump. Yeah, they just went like full on children's book, which is fine, but it was like such a cliche children's book. It was just not pleasant, and I didn't like it. I beat the game, but ugh, it was a major letdown. Some of the boss fights were cool, but like the rhythm game, like that was miserable, and it made you do it like 3 times, and the music wasn't even synced. This is a D tier. This would be another F tier if I had it. Nintendo, they I know I've only done one Nintendo game, well in Pokemon, but let's do another Nintendo game. I'm a huge Nintendo fan. So let's do Princess Peach Showtime. I'm a huge Nintendo fan. I absolutely love Nintendo games. Like 3 out of my top 5 games of all time are Nintendo games. Probably 8 out of my top 10 are Nintendo games, maybe, or 7, 6, I don't know. Anyway, but they failed me this year. Princess Peach Showtime. The game, I think the cutscenes and stuff were rendered in Unreal Engine, and the cutscenes looked great. Some of the best cutscenes Nintendo's produced, just like graphic-wise. I'm surprised it ran on the Switch and didn't explode. But the gameplay is so easy, so boring, so repetitive. It's a D tier. Nintendo, you depressed me this year. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. Let's continue. Nintendo. A lot of people like this game, say it's the best Paper Mario game. I have nostalgia for like Super Paper Mario on the Wii. That one's probably my favorite. I mean, I can see why people like this one. It started off strong. I was absolutely loving it. Then my interest kind of just weaned as time went on because it was a pretty long game. And I didn't even beat the final boss. I did it like 2 times, and it was so annoying because you had to do like 80 damage or whatever, and then you had to survive 2 or 3 turns where you couldn't do damage, and then the fight started proper after that, and I'm like, I've already done the charade, like just let me go into the main fight. It kind of made me rage a bit, so I just quit. There's also a bit just before that where you have to find like the Captain Babam guy, and it makes you go to like all the different kingdoms that you had already visited in the game, which was just long and tedious, and like I could just Google and find where he was, but you can't actually go to him and talk to him until you do everything else. It's like, I've already been to these places. I don't want to go back. Plus, I kept getting into battles. So the game started off strong, but then it kind of just... I'm going to put it at C tier. More interesting than Princess Peach Showtime, but yeah, I'd much rather play a little mobile Pokemon TCG Pocket. Now... You know what? I want to end kind of stronger with Nintendo. So let's get rid of Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. I love NES games. I love, older retro stuff. game-wise. Um, the challenges and stuff are cool, you know. I enjoyed playing through them, but it got on my nerves that I had to like get coins from doing challenges and playing in the like online stuff just to unlock new challenges. Like, just let me do all the speedrun stuff anyway. I'm not a big fan of speedrunning, so I didn't know that's what this game was. Um, till after I got it. I didn't know it was all speedruns. I thought it was just some speedruns, kind of like the NES remix on the 3DS. It was a little bit different. I kind of preferred it, but the quest thing was annoying. I had fun with this for a few hours. I did a couple of the online things, and then I was like, oh wait, I have no chance of winning any of these online tournaments and getting any of like the special badges because I'm going against 30, 40-year-old men that played these in the 80s and 90s when they came out. They've been practicing their entire lives for this. I have no chance. I've played through like the first Mario a ton of times, but yeah, this game was all right. I have the deluxe edition, and like the stuff that comes with the deluxe edition was definitely worth it. I love the gold cartridge and stuff. It's so cool. C tier, just because some of the games are good, even though the challenges are kind of meh. Now, one more Nintendo game, Mario versus Donkey Kong. This is the remake of the Game Boy game. I never played the Game Boy game, but I did play the DS game, which was like Mini Mayhem or whatever. I love the puzzles. I love kind of the weird movement of it, like where Mario's a little bit slower. He can't really jump as high, but it's just all like puzzle based. It was really good fun. I liked it a lot, actually. I, I beat it in like a weekend because it just grinded the whole game. Uh, I don't think I can put it on the same level as Elden Ring. It's a B tier. Okay. You see this little X Defiant right here? These boxes are too small. It's just like a dude holding a gun. You can't even see what the game is. You can't even see the title of any of these. Well, you can see a couple. I just realized that. Okay, X Defiant. Yeah, I played a couple matches in this. Like about a month after it came out, I was like, okay, what is this game that like two people are talking about? And I played like 2 games. I was like, oh, that's fun. But I don't know any of the factions because I haven't really played any Ubisoft games other than like Rayman and 1 or 2 Assassin's Creeds. That's it. So yeah. This one would be below Princess Peach Showtime, but there's no F tier, so it's a D tier. Well, I guess while we're on FPS games, let's go to Black Ops 6. I'm not a big Call of Duty guy. My first ever COD was Cold War. It was okay. Then I skipped Vanguard and played Modern Warfare 3. It was also okay. But Black Ops 6 is great. Multiplayer's fun. The Omni Movement's fun until you get some Omni Movement master who just like slides backwards and launches a throwing knife into your head. Yeah, that's not fun. And then all the sweats trying to get their gold camo on the baseball bat. COD campaigns, I normally get a little bit bored. This one was a little more interesting, kind of more like Mission Impossible-y, like with crazy over-the-top chase scenes and whatnot. I didn't finish the campaign. I only played a little bit of it. I might go back. I probably won't. Definitely my favorite COD that I've played. I've also played 1 or 2 matches of World at War. That one's really good. I haven't done the campaign or anything because, I'm just not a huge fan. But I might go back and finish Black Ops 6. I don't know. I'll probably put it at A tier. Yeah. I put way too many hours into COD. Marvel Rivals. Let's do that one. Yeah, fun game. I actually really enjoy it. I was a huge fan of Overwatch when it came out 2016, and I played it up until Overwatch 2 came out. And I didn't like Overwatch 2. It's a terrible game. It's a horrible game. And I'm also a huge Marvel fan. It's my favorite franchise. So this is like the perfect game for me. Well, it would be if they didn't fill it full of flashy graphics. Every time you go to a menu or hover over a character, there's like some big flash of lightning, and it just burns my retinas. I don't like it. But the gameplay is pretty fun, even though some characters are really unbalanced. Like, I have never seen a Venom go down, ever. And Jeff and his swallowing the whole team. He's like so cute, and I like the It's Jeff comics and everything, but he is an absolute menace in that game. But it's a really solid shooter, so A tier. I'm interested to see if it survives the next couple months, though. They're going to have to pump it full of content to keep the player base alive. Okay, yeah, let's do this one. Because my mother will be watching it, we shall refer to it as Fun Divers 2. Fun Divers 2 is an amazing game, but it's one of those that's so much better with friends, and I couldn't convince anybody I know to buy it. So I played it on my own with randos online, which was still an enjoyable experience, but not as enjoyable as it could have been. But like, It is a really good kind of tech showcase for the PS5. I absolutely love the haptic feedback on the gun. So you could kind of feel like your trigger like increase in pressure and decrease between each shot. That was like a really nice touch. I love how like cinematic it is with the lighting and everything, where you can kind of do like dives to the side or whatever to dodge, missiles or whatever. It looks really nice. I love kind of the weird systems of like the limbs. So if you're fighting one of the big bugs and you like shoot their left leg, well then they'll kind of limp and they'll walk a bit slower. I also like how when you're fighting the robots, like the big ATST looking things, you have to like flank around them and shoot the side, and it makes a really nice sound, and then they kind of explode, and all those little things, and also how like your character, their leg can break or something, and you walk a bit slower, and all that, like the weapon stuff, they feel really good, they sound good, like the vibration, the haptic feedback is so nice on the PS5 for that. I didn't play this game all that much because once again, it's I did a couple games, kind of got bored. PS Plus ran out, and I'm like, I'm not renewing this, even though it's a great game. I'm going to put it in A tier. It's going in A. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I'm a big anime fan. I'm a Dragon Ball fan. I like it. I like fighting games. Mortal Kombat's kind of my main one. I've never played like Dragon Ball Budokai, or what is it? Budokai Tenkaichi, whatever they're called. This game was fun, but it was a little too like simple and kind of annoying. I beat Grade 8 Vegeta, so all of you that didn't beat it, I could beat you in a fight easily in this game, probably. Not really. But there's not enough content in this game. Like, I was going to try to 100% it, and I started playing through the story, and I got through like 5 out of the 11 characters, and I'm like, I know the story of Dragon Ball. I watched the anime. If I have to go through these fights and these cutscenes one more time, I'm going to cry. So that game just needed more content, maybe an original story, but then again, it was probably Namco's just kind of like cash grab anyway, and they got it, so why would they keep updating it? It was fun for a bit, and then it kind of went meh. I'll put it C tier. Balatro, the game that half the population has a crippling addiction to now. Not me. It took over my life for about 2 days, and then for some reason I just moved on. It's a really solid game. I like kind of the trippy vibe of it with, like all the jokers and the weird swirly backgrounds and like the scan lines on it to make it look kind of older. I like the graphics and everything. The gameplay is fun. I like watching the numbers go up. It makes my brain happy. But for some reason, I don't know, I just didn't click with it like some people. But it's a really good game. I'll put it in B tier. Yeah, that's right. Balatro and Pokemon TCG Pocket on the same level. Ugh. Pal World. I'm a huge Pokemon fan, so I felt kind of wrong trying out the Pokemon with Guns game, but it's different enough in gameplay and in theory, except the catching mechanic, because apparently Nintendo patented that. But some of the pals look way too similar to Pokemon, but I mean, I would love a Pokemon game this style. Maybe tone down the fact that you can just like slaughter the little happy blue penguins for resources. That just made me sad. I couldn't do it. I didn't like having to take out any of the pals. It made me sad because they're cute. Um, but yeah, it's a good game. I don't know. I didn't stick with it like some people. I just kind of got bored. It was like Ark Survival Evolved meets Pokemon, but Ark is just a little more well made. I'll put it in B tier. B for Balatro, because that's that tier. I'm getting to some really great games here. Let's do Animal Well, which the text is cut off on the picture, and you just see a really beady-eyed kangaroo just staring at you. That game is absolutely fantastic. I'm not big on Metroidvanias normally. I did actually play Hollow Knight for the first time this year, and like a year or two ago, whenever I played Metroid Dread, and my first proper Metroid. I don't want to call it Metroidvania because Metroid is Metroid. So I've played the NES Metroid decent amount. And then, like I said, Metroid Dread. I've played the OG Castlevania, a little bit of it. Hollow Knight and Animal Well. That's my experience with the genre. Nine Souls is on Game Pass now, so I'll probably check it out because it looks really good. But yeah, Animal Well. I absolutely love the 8-bit graphics, and it kind of has like the CRT TV look to it. I love how there's like no combat. It's just all puzzles. I'm always looking for a puzzle game, and combat is one of those things that it's either good or it's garbage in a game. It can really make or break a game, especially because most are combat focused. And I love the puzzles. I loved all the weird little ways I could solve stuff using like a yo-yo or a bubble wand. And I love animals, so just seeing all the animals and stuff was a great thing. And I know a lot of people like the big community puzzle and the bunny mural and all that. Yeah, I didn't get any of that. It just like went over my head. But I didn't get all the eggs either. But I absolutely loved the exploration and the puzzles. It was a great game. Probably my favorite Metroidvania. I would definitely put it above Hollow Knight, but Hollow Knight's not on this list, so Animal Well shall be the first S tier. Yay! Uh, let's do FF7 Rebirth. I know a lot of people have nostalgia for FF7. I don't. I've never played it. I've never played FF7 Remake Integrate or Remake or whatever. Um, so this was my kind of first like experience in that world, and I do plan on playing Remake and then like the third part whenever it comes out, in 20 years or something. Um, hmm. Like I liked it. The music was really good. The gameplay was decent. I did not. I wasn't a huge fan of the mini games and stuff in the Gold Saucer, and it like forced you to play all of them, which kind of got on my nerves a little bit, and it was just too long. And I remember it was like 11 o'clock on a school night when I started doing the final boss. And Sephiroth, it took like 2 hours just for me to do one attempt and actually take him out. So that was not fun. And then the credits went on for forever. But that post credits cutscene is one of the most or one of the highest quality pre-rendered cutscenes I've ever seen in a game. Like it was fantastic. Personally, I prefer the FF16 like base game. DLC's mad, but the base game of FF16 over 7 Rebirth. So yeah, but Rebirth is a really solid game. I will probably put it. Just looking at this list, it's definitely better than like Pal World. It's A tier. Let's do No Rest for the Wicked, a game that I'm really looking forward to when it kind of comes out. I started playing it on Steam Deck. It was very rough. It didn't look great, kind of didn't run great, but I saw a trailer for it just before like early access came out, and I was super excited, and I got it, and then I played it, and it was crap, and I refunded it. But uh, I'm really looking forward to the final release because I just played the beta, so my opinion on it will probably change. I didn't even play that much, but I mean, what I did see, it has the makings of a great game. I know they added like Steam Deck support, and it runs better on most PCs and stuff now, so I do intend on rebuying it in the near future and giving it another go. But based on my experience, I'm going to put it in C tier. It would be a D tier, but I know it will improve. I guarantee it's already improved. I just haven't seen those improvements. But the trailer alone is what carried it to C tier because I really like. Basically, if I'm going to like something, I know by the first note of the music in the trailer. That if it has like some sweeping orchestral score, then I'm normally in for it because I like that, kind of epicness. Now Black Myth Wukong. Yeah, I had no interest in this game until I saw a lot of people talking about it. I've never read Journey to the West, but I want to. The game is good. The story is a little bleh. If you've read Journey to the West, I believe that you would understand the story a bit more, and I could probably like read all the notes of the bosses and the scrolls you collect and all that, but no, I can't be bothered. I'm too lazy for that. Just tell me the story. But I mean, the gameplay was good. I kind of dropped it after like 10, 12 hours. I was just kind of done. Like, so much of that game is just animations. It's like if Elden Ring was like an action game, kind of like FF16 or 7 Rebirth. Well, no, 7 Rebirth. The combat was pretty good in that one. It was like the natural evolution of turn-based JRPG. So FF7 Rebirth has a really good combat system. I liked it. Yeah, this is kind of like Black Myth Wukong. It's kind of similar to like FF16's combat style. I think the DMC games, I've never played any of them, but I think they kind of created that style of action game. But it was alright. The abilities and stuff were alright. I kind of liked it. I got stuck on the big tiger boss, the one that's like in a pool of blood or whatever. Yeah, I was just kind of like, nah, I'm done. When I got to that point, I did it like 5 times and I just couldn't beat him. And I was like, yeah, I'm kind of over it. I'd rather go play a proper Souls game. Yeah. Uh, I mean, I put more time in it than most of the ones in C tier, so I guess I'll put it in B. Now, two great games. I'm going to save the best for last. So we'll do Hades 2 now. Hades 2 is a great game. I'm a huge fan of the first one. Um, this one, it's in early access, but it feels like a full on game. I mean, the story in it's great. It has so much more content than the first one. I like all the new, well, I like some of the new weapons. I mainly used, I think it was the axe. I haven't played it in a bit, and I did not go to refresh my memory, even though I need to. And I like kind of a lot of the new systems and little mini games and stuff. It's good, and I think they kind of improve the relationship system in it to where it's not just like give them a certain amount of nectar and they'll give you like a gift. There's more to it, and there are more dialogue options. And I think her name is Nemesis or whatever. She kind of like helps out, and you kind of have like a competition with her in certain chambers, which is really cool. The boss fights are nice. I never was able to beat Kronos, and I have like 20 hours in this game. I think Kronos needs a little bit of a nerf because it's obviously not a skill problem. Okay, I am one of the greatest gamers in the world. It's not a skill problem. The game is just unfair and doesn't like me. But I absolutely adore this game. It's great. I will probably do a video on it if I can ever be bothered. S tier. And now my game of the year and the actual game of the year. Jeff Keighley made the right choice. Astrobot. I'm like I said, I'm a huge Nintendo fan. Mario is like my favorite series. I love all the Mario games. Mario Odyssey was okay. I like Mario 64, Mario Sunshine. Love the two Galaxy games. Um, but Astrobot, I think might be the best 3D platformer I've ever played. It's so good. It was a great. I'll finish talking about it in a second. It's going up to S tier. There we go. Yay! Animal Well, Hades 2, and Astrobot are the S tier games. But Astrobot, it's like I don't have any nostalgia for PlayStation properties because my first PlayStation was a PS4. Got it, I don't know when, but um, yeah, I've played like Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, Miles Morales, God of War Ragnarok, Bloodborne, uh, FF16, 7 Rebirth. Yeah, that's kind of it for like PlayStation exclusives. I'm more of an Xbox and of course Nintendo guy. Um, so I don't have nostalgia for all of those, little cameo characters and stuff that they have in there, but I recognize them. And I find it funny how they managed to slide like Pyramid Head and Solid Snake and Lara Croft and all these characters into a little rated E game. I find that funny. And and I think there's some DLC levels now, but this is one of the three games that I have actually 100% completed. And it's probably the only one of those games that is actually in my top 10 of all time. The other games are Job Simulator on PSVR because it only had like 5 achievements, and I was like, why not? It was the equivalent of like find the donut in the glove box in Mechanic Simulator. Yeah, that was just gonna happen. But the other one is Telltale's The Walking Dead Season 1 on Xbox. I recently played through it and recorded a podcast, but it's not up yet. It might be up by the time this comes out. I have no idea. But that's because that's a Telltale game. It's kind of just going to happen anyway. This is kind of the only game I like really went out my way to 100% because I loved it that much. It's also just a great tech showcase. It looks fantastic. I love the particle effects and like the gemstones raining down in like one of the levels. Like I don't even know how the PS5 can run that. I can see a lot of high end PCs and stuff struggling that, but the PS5 just does it no problem. And Astro, he can like hit them or spin into them, and every individual object reacts differently. And as someone who has taken several coding classes, it can take like 50 lines of code just to set a character from a pre existing library, have them walk to the end of the screen, jump and collect a coin, have the coin disappear, and the score increase by one. That's like 50 lines of code if you're efficient. And the fact that Astro can interact with 500 different like individual gemstones or coins or sprinkles or whatever on the ground and the PlayStation not explode. I don't understand it, and it's amazing. I absolutely love that game. And that is all the games that I've played this year that I remember playing that came out this year. Like I said, I know I missed some big ones, and there are some of them that I actually have. I just haven't played, like Metaphor Refantasio. I have it still in the packaging, and I need to download it. But yeah, and some others like UFO 50. I just got that one. I want to play it, but yeah, I guess those will be, I don't know, a podcast or something. So yes, that's my ranking of the games I've played this year that came out this year, 2024. Have a happy new year if it's New Year's when you're watching this. Hope you've had a good 2024. Have a great 2025. Bye.